Can baking cookies teach you psychology? Can 3 pantry staples unlock the secret to human cognition? Picture this: a baby's hands squishing Play-Doh, a toddler pretending a banana is a phone, a swirl of chocolate syrup drizzling over oats. Then, poof, a finished cookie. This is no ordinary dessert. It's a journey from sensory chaos to abstract mastery. By the end of this video, you'll not only have a sweet treat, but understand how your brain leaped from poking at textures to imagining entire worlds. Forget flashcards. Today we're decoding Piaget's genius in the kitchen, where every bite-sized step mirrors how humans learn to think. Ready to taste the evolution of intelligence? Welcome to Cognitive Kitchen, where psychology meets the plate. If you've ever stared at a textbook diagram of Piaget's stages and thought, what does this even mean? You're not alone. But what if I told you the secret to unlocking human cognition is hiding in your pantry? Today, we're baking no-bake chocolate oatmeal cookies. And trust me, this isn't just dessert. This is a crash course in how humans learn to think. Jean Piaget, the Swiss psychologist who cracked open child development, like a curious toddler smashing a piñata, believed our brains evolve through stages. First, we grope, squish, and taste everything, sensorimotor mode. Then, around age 2, boom, we start pretending sticks are swords and clouds are cotton candy. That leap from sensory chaos to symbolic magic, that's the preoperational stage. But how do you visualize this leap? With cookies, obviously. Here's the deal: cooking isn't just about recipes, it's about transforming ingredients, just like our brains transform experiences. By mixing oats, cocoa, and honey, we'll mimic how tiny humans shift from poking at their world to imagining it. Every stir, squish, and chill mirrors a cognitive milestone. And the best part? No baking required. This channel isn't about dry lectures or dusty theory. We're here to get our hands dirty, literally. Because psychology shouldn't live in ivory towers, it should live in your snack drawer. Today, you'll learn why toddlers call bananas phones and how your brain learned to love metaphors, all while making something delicious. Ready to taste the evolution of thought? Let's roll. Imagine a world where everything disappears when you close your eyes. No past, no future. Just what you can touch, taste, or see right now. This isn't a sci-fi plot twist. It's the reality of a baby's mind in Piaget's sensorimotor stage, the first chapter of human cognition. From birth to around age 2, babies learn through their senses and actions. Grasping, sucking, shaking, even chucking their rattle across the room to test gravity, or just for fun. They're tiny scientists, experimenting with cause and effect. But here's the magic. They don't yet realize that objects exist when hidden. Hide a toy under a blanket, poof, it's gone. That's why peekaboo feels like wizardry to them. Then, around age 2, something extraordinary happens. A switch flips. Toddlers enter the preoperational stage, where symbols take center stage. A stick becomes a sword, a banana, a phone. They start using words, images, and pretend play to represent the world, a leap Piaget called the symbolic function. This isn't just cute make-believe, it's the birth of abstract thought. But how do you visualize this shift? Let's unpack it with a cookie analogy. In the sensorimotor phase, your brain is like raw oats, gritty, hands-on, all texture. You need to feel the world to know it. But as we mix in cocoa and honey, something changes. The oats start sticking together, forming a cohesive whole. That's the preoperational leap, combining sensory experiences into mental symbols. Suddenly, the oats aren't just oats, they're the foundation of a cookie. A toddler's mind works the same way. They realize a drawing of a dog isn't just scribbles, it stands for something real. But here's the catch. This transition isn't seamless. Kids in the preoperational stage still struggle with logic. Ask a 4-year-old if a tall, skinny glass holds more water than a short, wide one, and they'll swear the taller one wins, even if both have the same amount. They're stuck in centration, focusing on one obvious detail, height, while ignoring others' width. It's like thinking the cookie dough looks too messy to become a perfect ball. Their brains haven't mastered conservation yet, the idea that quantity stays the same despite changes in shape. And let's not forget egocentrism, the hallmark of this stage. Toddlers assume everyone sees the world exactly as they do. Show them a drawing of a tree, and they'll struggle to imagine how it looks from behind. It's why they'll hand you a book facing them, expecting you to read it upside down. Sound familiar? Don't worry, we'll tackle egocentrism later with lasagna. The point is, these stages aren't just academic labels, they're the scaffolding. Serve how we think, imagine, and even bake. The leap from sensorimotor to preoperational is like transforming loose ingredients into something structured, a cookie. By the time we chill this mixture, you'll see how abstract thought isn't just for philosophers or algebra students. It starts with squishing stuff between your fingers and pretending bananas ring when you press buttons. 3 ingredients. 1 cognitive leap. Let's break it down. Oats, gritty, textured, begging to be squished between fingers. There, the sensorimotor stage, pure tactile exploration. The way babies poke, squeeze, and taste everything to learn. Cocoa powder, dark, aromatic, transformative. It's the spark of symbolic thought. The moment a toddler calls a banana a phone or a blob of dough becomes a cookie. And honey, sticky, golden, binding it all together. That's the aha moment, the leap from messy sensory input to structured understanding. This recipe isn't just mixing, it's a metaphor. When we stir oats, cocoa, and honey into a sludgy mess, we're mimicking how brains shift from chaos to order. Babies start in sensory overload, touching and tasting raw data. But as we roll the mixture into balls, chilling them into shape, we mirror the preoperational stage, where symbols crystallize. The oats don't vanish, they just change form, like a child realizing dog means both their pet and the word in a book. Why these ingredients? Because they transform. Oats teach texture, cocoa adds symbolism, and honey binds it, just like cognition evolves from touch to imagination. Ready to stir your brain? Let's dive in. First, grab a cup of oats. These aren't just breakfast. Staples. They're your brain at the sensorimotor stage. Gritty, textured, begging to be squished. Babies explore the world like this, poking, tasting, feeling every bump and crumble. Now, add cocoa powder. Dark, rich, aromatic. This is the spark of symbolic thought. The moment a toddler calls a banana a phone or a stick a sword, cocoa transforms the oats, just like imagination transforms experience. Now drizzle in honey. Sticky, golden, binding everything together. This is the aha moment, the leap from sensory chaos to structured understanding. As you stir, watch how the mixture thickens. The oats cling to the honey just like a child clinging to the idea that a drawing of a dog isn't just scribbles, it represents something real. What's happening here? You're not just making cookie dough, you're mirroring cognitive development. The sensorimotor stage is all about doing, touching, tasting, reacting. But as the ingredients meld, you're entering the preoperational stage, where symbols take over. The oats don't vanish, they just change form, like a kid realizing their pet dog and the word dog are connected. Now, roll the mixture into balls. This is where the magic happens. Your hands shape chaos into order, just like a child's brain starts organizing scattered experiences into ideas. A toddler pretending a bowl is a hat. That's the same creative leap. The dough feels messy, but it's cohesive. Trust the process. Wait. What's this? The balls look rough, uneven, just like early symbolic thinking. Toddlers struggle with logic here. Show them a tall glass and a short glass with the same amount of juice and they'll swear the tall one has more. That's centration, focusing on one obvious detail, height, while ignoring others, width. Our cookie balls aren't perfect yet, but they're getting there. Now, chill the dough. Time to pause and let it set. This is conservation, the idea. That quantity stays the same even when shape changes. The dough doesn't shrink, it just solidifies. A child learns this when they realize pouring water from a cup to a bowl doesn't make it disappear. Or that dividing a cookie into pieces doesn't create more. It's the same, just transformed. As the balls firm up, think, what did we start with? Oats, cocoa, honey, separate, chaotic. Now they're unified. That's cognition in action. From sensory input to symbolic output. from squishing stuff to imagining it as something new. Your cookies are ready. Bite in and celebrate the evolution of thought. One bite, one brain, one delicious cognitive leap. Let's pause here. The mixture is thick, sticky, and uneven. Oats cling to cocoa. Honey glues everything together, but it's still a mess. Sound familiar? This is the sensorimotor to preoperational. Sweet spot. Babies start in chaos, touching, tasting, shaking everything to learn. Toddlers end up imagining, pretending, and, crucially, understanding that things exist beyond what they see. So, how do we get from this sludge to a cookie? The same way humans evolve from poking at the world to picturing it in their minds. Now roll your hands into the mixture, scoop a glob and press it firmly. Watch how the ingredients compress, clinging together despite their differences. This is symbolic thought in action. The oats don't vanish when hidden under cocoa. They just take a new form, just like a child realizing their pet dog and the word dog are linked, or that a stick can be a sword in a backyard battle. The physical world transforms, but the meaning stays. Wait, what if I told you this step mirrors object permanence? Piaget's classic milestone where babies grasp that hidden objects still exist. Think of peekaboo magic. For months, your infant thinks you disappear when you cover your face, then suddenly they giggle knowing you're still there. The same thing happens here. The oats are still oats, honey still honey, even when squished into a ball. The shape changes, but the substance remains. That's conservation, another Piagetian gem. Kids don't master this until around 7. Toddlers swear a tall glass holds more juice than a short one, even if both pour equally. But here, in your hands, you're proving it. Quantity doesn't vanish, it just reshapes. Roll harder. Press the mixture into a tight sphere. See how the rough edges smooth out. This is the brain organizing chaos. Early in the sensorimotor stage, babies react to textures, tastes, and sights without understanding why. But as they grow, they start categorizing. This feels like sand. This tastes like honey. This looks like a cookie. The preoperational leap isn't just symbolic play. It's about grouping experiences into ideas. A toddler calls a cat dog because both have fur and 4 legs. They're building categories. Your cookie ball, it's a category too, sweet, textured, edible. You're not just baking, you're classifying, just like a child learning language. Still skeptical? Let's test it. Take 2 equal portions of dough, flatten one into a pancake, roll the other into a ball. Which looks bigger, the pancake, right? But weigh them, they're identical. This is centration, another preoperational quirk. Kids fixate on one obvious detail, width of the pancake, and ignore others, density. Adults do it too, ever mistake. A wide pot for holding more than a tall kettle? Piaget called this centration. We call it a brain shortcut. But as you chill these balls, they'll firm up, teaching the same lesson. Appearance changes, essence stays. Now, pop them in the fridge. Time to pause. As the mixture sets, think about what just happened. You started with separate ingredients, textures to explore, flavors to taste. Now they're unified, transformed by touch. That's cognition in motion, from sensory input to symbolic output. From squishing stuff to imagining it as something new. This isn't just dessert, it's a timeline of human learning. First we grope, then we grasp. First we taste, then we think. And somewhere between the squishing and the setting, we cross into the realm of minds, where symbols rule and cookies taste like knowledge. Ready for the final act? Let's finish these off and savor the evolution of thought, one bite at a time. Let's finish these off and savor the evolution of thought, one bite at a time. Take your chilled cookie balls and dip them in melted chocolate. Watch how the coating clings, transforming their rough texture into something sleek. This step mirrors conservation, the realization that changing a shape doesn't change the quantity. A toddler might swear a stretched-out ball of Play-Doh grew bigger, just like they'd insist these cookies shrank when dipped. But you know better. The oats, cocoa, and honey are still there. They've just dressed up. Piaget showed that conservation isn't just about math. It's about understanding that essence outlasts appearance. Now place them on a tray. Notice how they hold their form, even as the chocolate hardens. This is cognitive scaffolding. Just As kids learn to categorize, dogs versus cats, sweet versus salty, your cookies now have boundaries. The pre-operational mind struggles here. Show a 4-year-old 2 rows of cookies, one spread apart, one packed tight. They'll say the spread out row has more, fixated on space, not number. But you're past that. You see the truth, the same dough just reshaped. Arrange the finished cookies on a plate. Their glossy shells gleam, hiding the textured core. This is symbolic thinking layered over sensory experience. A child pretending a stick is a sword? Same idea. The physical world bends to imagination, yet stays rooted in reality. These cookies aren't just oats and honey anymore. They're a dessert, a lesson, a metaphor. Take a bite. The crunch gives way to soft, chewy complexity. Think back to where we started. Loose ingredients, chaotic mixing, uncertain shaping. Sound like early cognition? Babies grope blindly. Toddlers mislabel. Everything, and then click. Structure emerges. Piaget's stages weren't random, they were recipes. Each step built on the last, just like these layers of flavor. So, what's the takeaway? Learning isn't a flash of genius. It's messy, iterative, and deeply sensory. Toddlers don't leap from peekaboo to algebra. They squish, pretend, and slowly build bridges between concrete and abstract. And you? You just baked your way through human cognitive history. Still hungry? What other Piagetian concepts feel like a puzzle? Share your thoughts. Let's cook through them together. Take a bite. Let the texture settle on your tongue. The crunch of the chocolate shell giving way to the soft, chewy center. This isn't just dessert. It's a bite-sized lesson in how your brain learned to think. Every scoop of oats, swirl of cocoa, and drizzle of honey mirrored a cognitive milestone. From tactile exploration to symbolic transformation. From chaos to clarity. From sensorimotor squishing to preoperational pretending. Think back. You started with loose ingredients, each isolated in its own sensory world. Oats gritted between fingers, cocoa stained the spoon, honey clung to the measuring cup. That's the sensorimotor stage, babies learning through touch, taste, and trial. But as you mixed, something shifted. The ingredients fused, creating something new. That's the pre-operational leap, realizing symbols can stand for reality. A banana becomes a phone, a cookie becomes a metaphor. Did you catch the aha moment? When the sticky dough finally held its shape? That's object permanence, the realization that hidden things still exist. Toddlers giggle at peekaboo because they've just discovered this magic. Your cookie balls? They proved the same principle. The oats didn't vanish when coated in chocolate. They just changed form. Just like a child grasping that a dog remains a dog, whether wagging its tail or tucked under a blanket. And what about the chilling step, the pause that let everything set? That's conservation, the idea that quantity stays the same even when shape changes. Toddlers swear a tall glass holds more juice than a short one. But as you watch the dough firm up, you witness the truth. Essence outlasts appearance. No baking required, just time and trust in the process. Now look at the plate. These cookies aren't just snacks, they're timelines of human cognition. Each bite a reminder that learning isn't a flash of genius. It's messy, iterative, and deeply sensory. Toddlers don't leap from poking at blocks to solving puzzles. They squish, pretend, and slowly build bridges between concrete and abstract. And so did you ever watched a child call a stick a sword? Now you know why it works. Symbolic thought isn't just play. It's the foundation of language, math, and creativity. The same spark that turns oats into cookies turns scribbles into stories. So what's your takeaway? Did seeing Piaget's stages unfold in your hands make the theory click? Did the cookie crumble into clarity? Share your aha moment in the comments. What other Piagetian puzzles confuse you? Maybe lasagna can explain egocentrism, or a layered cake could map the stages of development. Let's keep cooking and tasting the evolution of thought. Thanks for joining us on this sweet journey from sensorimotor squishing to abstract thinking. If you found yourself nodding along as we mixed, rolled, and chilled your way through Piaget's stages, give this video a thumbs up. It tells us you're hungry for more mind-bending, edible education. This is Cognitive Kitchen, where psychology meets the plate. We're on a mission to prove that learning isn't confined to dusty textbooks or lecture halls. It's alive in your kitchen, in every stir of a spoon, every transformation from raw ingredients to finished dish. Jean Piaget taught us that cognition builds step by step, and we're here to show you how. No flashcards required, just a willingness to get your hands dirty. If you've ever stared at a textbook diagram of Piaget's stages and thought, what does this even mean? We're your new favorite channel, because here theory becomes tactile, abstract becomes appetizing, and complex becomes, well, a cookie, ready to taste more theories. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a recipe. Next week, we're diving into egocentrism with a lasagna that'll make you rethink how kids and maybe even adults see the world. Spoiler, it's all about layers, both in the dish and in the mind. Got a Piaget concept you're still scratching your head over? Drop it in the comments, maybe we'll cook up an answer for you. Until then, keep stirring, rolling, and thinking, because the kitchen isn't just for cookies, it's for cognition. Stay curious, stay hungry. See you next time.